Hey there, nomads of lore. I'm Sean.
And I'm Jonathan.
And together we are Mead and Mischief, your home away from no home.
Yay!
Today we are talking about book six from the Wheel of Time series, and this is the Lord of Chaos. Ominous.
Yes.
It seems like in the first part, at least, these books kind of happen in chunks of threes. So this is the next big turning point. All kinds of exciting stuff. So just like what we've been doing for the last ones, we're going to do a quick-ish summary of the book and kind of remind us and you about what happened, and we'll kind of review a little as we go ish, and then last we'll give our final thoughts and kind of give our pros and cons and what we thought about the book, and then we'll wrap it up. So let's get started.
So to start off with, we start to realize that the Dark One is growing in power because of the broken seals. So with this new power that he is wielding, he reincarnates Balthamel, whatever that name is,
Yeah.
and Aginor, and then he also incarnates the Murdral, which is Shidar. What is it?
Haran.
Shidar Haran, which all the Forsaken are extremely fearful of for a strange reason, because the normal Forsaken are far below. The normal Murdral are far below the Forsaken.
Right, and they don't have names.
But they're
don't
just
really
known as Murdral, not a specific name,
Yep.
and he talks different and whatever
so
else.
they're nervous
So
about that.
I'm interested to see where that goes.
Absolutely.
So anyway.
Well, it's also hot everywhere, right?
Oh
There's
yeah, the global warming.
Poor
That's
polar
the other one.
bears.
Yep. Global warming is
Yeah.
a real thing.
Yeah.
In Wheel of Time.
Yes, it is. That's right. That's right. Because it's winter and it's hot everywhere,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, after all that prologue and all the weird stuff, at where is the place where the Dark One is? Some terrible, I don't know, somewhere. You tell us in the comments,
That's
or
right.
we'll remember. I don't know, something wherever he's trapped. And the word that's coming to my brain is Shael Ghul, but that's something else.
That's another dark place.
Yeah, but okay. So anyway, after all that prologue bit, Rand announces to the world, or at least the people that hear about it, that he is going to give amnesty to male channelers. Gasp. So, all these people, all these guys, these male Aes Sedai, right? Or whatever.
That everyone's so fearful of.
Yes, exactly. And the Red Aja.
They're already everybody in the world's already fearful of the Aes Sedai.
Yes.
Because they can channel, but a man that can channel?
Yeah, is big news.
They get killed.
Exactly.
So.
And so this guy Mazrim Taim, who's a little creepy and strange, but he's a male channeler, and he's been doing it for a while. He's what do they call him? I think he's known as a false dragon or whatever, isn't he?
Yeah,
One of them.
He is.
Yeah, and so he's one that Red Aja would be tracking down or whatever. But he ends up going and joining Rand, and he agrees to train these. Yes. Yeah, they don't know the name until later, but yes, soon. Well, in this book, so
Yes.
And yeah, so he trains them, and then Rand's gonna call him the Ashaman and put pins on him. Except Mazrim Taim, he doesn't want to wear pins because he's aloof or something. I don't know. I don't know what's going on with him yet, but he is very shady seeming. So who knows? Yeah.
They call it the Black Tower. I don't remember if that's at that part, but I think it's
when he starts
quickly
handing out the pins. I think he says
call it the Black Tower instead of the White Tower.
Call it. I think Rand's opposed to that name at first, right?
Yeah,
and then all that stuff happens.
Both groups of the Aes Sedai, the White Tower and the kicked out other Aes Sedai, are trying to gain favor with Rand. They both realize, I think, that if we don't get on his side or something, do something about him, we're going to.
Well, they want to control him. Both groups do.
Yeah, we're going to have a really big problem on our hands if we're not at least in alliance with him, if not controlling him.
Right.
And so they're trying to gain favor with him. Somehow that translates to Alana to bond him against his will
as her warder.
And so anyway, I don't know how she.
It's very serious.
It is. It's like he almost plays it off in the book to be like raping against your will, almost kind of thing. Like it's very serious.
Very serious.
Yeah, and Rand takes it very seriously, and I'm surprised that there's several times in this book that I'm very surprised that he holds back his temper, because he kind of lets his temper go a lot of times, but that's one of them. I was very surprised
he didn't do crazy man
worse.
Screaming in his so he's got enough anger with the other that maybe he I don't know. Yeah. Min goes, I think Elaine sends her, we got this strange love quadrangle weird thing going on, which I'm not sure how I feel about, to be honest, but
triangle, right? Well, quadrangle. Okay, I get what you're saying. Yes,
it's four. Well, three girls, and him,
one boy. Yes.
I don't know. What is it? It says the line in Terminal, Tom Hanks. One man, two women's crowded. Well, this is like way crowded. But anyway, whatever's going on, Min goes to give Rand emotional support. So sweet. And she's so in love. And at that point, Rand is like, oh yeah, Min's different. She doesn't love me. Rand, I don't know. The boys in this book, as far as women are concerned, they are... well, we'll talk about pros and cons later. But, yeah. So, anyway, he's clueless at first, but she goes and helps him. Rand sends... Matt is there, and Rand is worried about Elaine, and he wants her to come and be queen. And he's got the crown for her, and all this stuff. And... so he sends Matt to go save her and take care of her and bring her back, when she's done or sooner. And so Matt is headed off that way. And then also, meanwhile, the other of the dudes, Perrin, who's rather useless at this point in the series, unfortunately, because he's one of my favorites, but he feels the pull of the Taviran and decides it's time and he needs to go back or go to Rand to help him out.
Morghese travels to Amadisia to try to get some people behind her because she wants to retake the throne. She needs some help. But unfortunately, the Children of the Light are waiting around every corner, it seems like. Everywhere. Pedron Nile captures her. Okay. So then, if we go back over to the girls, Elaine and Nynaeve are practicing their skills because they now have Morghese in captivity.
Moghedian,
not Morghese.
That would be better because then they would know she was alive.
No. Moghedian. They have her in captivity with the Idom, of course, and she's kind of reluctantly telling them how to use their ability slowly.
Right.
So they keep practicing with her, and Nynaeve sits down with Logain at one point, kind of yammering around and figures out how to heal him.
Yes. And
heals him of his stilling. And freaks everybody out, and then she goes and finds Swan and Leanne and says, I can heal y'all. And she heals them. And everybody's like, oh my gosh, you can be healed from stealing. Now, you don't have the same amount of power that you did as before. But you do have your connection back, and you can use the one power. So
wild and crazy. People thought that was even in the Age of Legends, they thought that was impossible. So this is kind of a big deal.
It shows a little bit of how powerful Nynaeve is.
This whole time during some politics, which he doesn't like as much, and I like a lot. The Swan has been maneuvering things behind the scenes and to get. And they decide, the Hall of the Tower in Exile, they decide that they're going to raise Egwene as the new Amerlin seat in Exile. And so they tell her that through Egwene and Nynaeve and Elaine and several others actually have been meeting in Talion-Riyadh. And Egwene finds out that she can travel essentially using Talion-Riyadh by going there in the flesh or something like that. The wise ones tell her, no, don't do it. But she's like, yes, I'm going to do it. They beat her up. and then she does it anyway. And so she goes to Salidar through Talion Riyadh, which is kind of cool. But she ends up there, and they raise her to the Amerlin seat. And one of her first acts as the new Amerlin is to raise Nynaeve and Elaine to full Aes Sedai, which they're like, oh, that's never been done, which is probably false. Can't do it. But then she's like, yeah, I can do it. It's my life. Can't tell me what to do. And so they are raised, even though they haven't taken the oaths yet. And then after they're raised to Aes Sedai, Egwene says, okay, we found out about this Terran Grial in Ebu Dar called the Bowl of the Winds, and I'm going to send you there because this will help control all this heat wave.
The winds will cool the heat.
Exactly. It'll cool it down. And so they head towards Ebu Dar, and so Matt has been with them this whole time, and Matt's like, wait, you can't go. I have to take Elaine back to Rand. And she's like, yeah, I'm going to go. Forget you. And he's like, well, I guess I gotta go with you. Yeah, and so he begrudgingly goes with them to Ebu Dar.
Egwene secretly arranges for Logain to escape.
Might come back to bite her in the butt.
It's probably going to be bad, but we haven't seen anything. So, anyway, he, of course, just is like, well, I guess I need to go where I'm actually welcomed.
Right. I'm not going to be
killed. Yeah, so he goes to ally himself with Rand and Mazrim Taim and all of them with the Black Tower. And we will see more from him shortly, I'm sure.
Probably. So remember, Moghedien was trapped in the Idom. And Arengar, or a.k.a. Balthamel, Bathmael, whatever his pronunciations are strange. We've gone far. I guess
Sam-I-Am and Mothball.
There you go. That works. So he infiltrates and sneaks in, and he frees Moghedien. Oh no, she's loose again. She's gonna kill Birgitte or something. We don't know. And so she escapes, and that kind of closes that little chapter of that little part of this book. Back with Rand, he is captured. He didn't learn his lesson about trusting Aes Sedai, and he gets captured.
He lets too many of them in the room.
That's exactly right.
He gets too full of himself, thinks that he can take them all on.
Oh yeah, and he does.
That scene is really cool.
It is. Yeah.
He's like just strutting around, and then all of a sudden he's like,
"Oh no, this."
Wait,
1, 2, 3,
13.
Oh no! And so he gets captured, and they cart him up and are going to take him to Elida, and they stick him in a box, and he starts to go crazy, and his what's his face? The voice in his head?
Old dragon.
Whatever his name is.
Yeah, that guy.
That guy. We'll think of it here in a minute, I'm sure. But he's, that's all happening, and he's kind of going bonkers in the thing. And not only is he locked in a hot, sweaty box, he's tortured, and they're just horrible to him. It's terrible, terrible, terrible.
And he's completely cut off from the one power.
Yes, because they have him shielded the whole time, of course. Because he's
poking at the shield. He's trying to find.
Yes, he is.
But it's a rounded shield, and they can't figure out how to get out of it.
The other guy. Logain, his only name's coming to me. Whatever. They're both like poking at, trying to let me go.
Perrin comes along to save Rand. He leads all of Rand's followers, a lot of Rand's followers,
Two Rivers
into
folks.
To the battle of Demise Wells. And so they start fighting, and it's
they're not going to win.
Maybe even-ish, but not really. They're going to lose bad.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, Mazrim Taim shows up with the Ashaman.
Dun dun dun.
And it is awesome. And they shield Rand, or is Rand in the middle? I can't remember. They're in the middle of this whole thing. They basically pop in the very center of the battle. They put a shield around where they're at, And then they start stepping outward and growing the shield. And as they do so, the earth around it turns into just like a meat grinder, basically. Pulling people under and spitting them out as body parts. And it's
terrible
crazy.
Things.
All these people dying and screaming and everybody's running. And it's nuts to
terrible,
see,
horrible,
how,
no good, very bad.
how powerful these men are.
Yeah,
so
it's
crazy. So then after the battle, they do win because of that, because of Mazrim Taim, and Rand is set free, and he gets out of the box and immediately so pissed off and so crazy and whatever from being in the box that he stills several of the Aes Sedai who held him captive because he's pissed off. And so these women are completely cut off, which basically is a death sentence. The ones that aren't cut off, they get shielded and they basically get given to the wise ones to look after. And anyway, and then the other Aes Sedai, the rebel ones that were on their side, and I think they did fight right with them.
Some of them did.
Yeah, they end up swearing fealty to Rand, and that's the end of that book. Very crazy ending.
Yeah, super crazy ending.
So, what are your feelings about the book?
So this book comes up as a lot of people's favorite book. I did not like this book as much as the previous two. I felt like, other than the ending, there wasn't a lot that I cared about that was happening in the book for a good chunk of it. It's got some parts that are just a little more boring. It's got meant the whole. Honestly, I know you like the Min and Rand relationship, but I don't really care about any of Rand. I mean, his relationship with Aviendha is funny, and so that's. I mean, there's that, and that's kind of cool. But I don't know, cool is not the right word, but it's more interesting. We'll go with that. But I don't like that's. I don't know. It's kind of boring and whatever. And her character is strange. She's very interesting at the beginning. And,
she got stale in this book.
And yeah,
I agree with that.
So now the ending is exciting and crazy and all kinds of stuff happening. Honestly, and I know I'm gonna get like ostracized for this, but I've never been a big action person, and so I mean the power is it's cool. But honestly, I thought it was less interesting in than some of the other endings, like like in the previous book or a couple books back, with the whole thing with him and Osmodian, where they're battling with the Ungrial stuff. I mean, that was interesting. I like some of the other stuff better personally, and I know that most people are like, oh my gosh, this book is amazing because of Ashaman kill, which is an awesome line at that. That moment is more interesting to me than the battle itself.
Oh yeah.
I did like that. I mean, not it was horrible, but the whole Rand captive thing was that was interesting. And I mean, it was terrible, but that was interesting. But yeah, I wasn't as interested in a good chunk of this book myself. But anyway, yeah. What did you think?
I liked it a lot. I liked most of these books a lot, but
yeah.
I really liked the ending. I love the battle. I agree that some of the other battles are just as interesting for sure, if not more so. But the Ashraman part is amazing, and I guess it was refreshing for me to see someone who was male other than Rand actually using power, because up until now, all you've seen has been, I guess, Perrin and Matt kind of have powers, but different. It's just all the men are pretty much fighting with sword and shield and whatever, and the women are doing all the battling, and so it was cool to me to see, like, oh, maybe this is why. Maybe this is why everybody's freaked out by the men who can
seem a little terrifying to me.
Yeah. So, but I love that, and then I agree. I love I mean, it was terrible for him to be locked up, but it gave a lot of depth to his character that had been lacking for a while.
Yeah,
because he's kind of been. I mean, he's the main character, I guess, but he's just kind of been this blah character that whatever.
I want to do things. I don't want to do things.
Yeah, and you start to really see, oh golly, he's having to deal with a lot, and he's got this guy in his head talking to him.
Yeah.
And all the terrible things.
Going nutso.
Yeah, pretty much. And the earlier stuff, I did like. I like the scene when Rand gets captured. I like the stuff with Egwene learning how to walk through Tel Iran Riyadh.
A little bit was interesting.
But I again
I really like the Aes Sedai stuff and some of the politics. Like we'll review it in the next, but in the next book we see more of some of that. And I like that. At this point, it's like we know a lot is happening with like Swan's manipulations and things, but we don't see any of it. And it just kind of all in this particular book. It's like, oh yeah, Egwene's going to be Amyrlin, yay! And that's about the extent of that. And
there's a lot of cool scenes in when the Aes Sedai first get there, and Rand is like no more than 13, kind of thing, and they all get put in a kind of an inn or whatever, and it's so funny, just the women bickering and all the funny things.
There is some things with that. Mm-hmm.
And then after she what is her name, forces Rand to be her what's her name,
Alana.
Yeah, Alana.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because that's in this book, right at the beginning of this one.
I don't know, we talked about it recently, but we shot 2 videos today, so
anyway, I enjoyed it a lot. I think it's not as I think the last one is probably out of the first six. Number 5
Fires of Heaven.
Yeah, right. Would be my favorite probably.
But it definitely has the most stuff happening in the book. Or the most exciting stuff, I guess.
Yeah. So anyway, not really any negatives from me. I think
I already expressed some negatives.
Your negatives. I can't really think of anything other than the politics slowness at the beginning. But again, it's all needed, so I understand it and it's good.
Yeah, cool stuff.
Yep, I agree with you on Min's character for sure.
She slows down a little.
Yeah, it's kind of but I think it picks back up a little bit. So anyway,
yep.
Awesome. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up. If you disliked it, give it a thumbs down, and tell us why, please.
Yeah, absolutely.
We would love to know. We want to get better at this. So
we like hearing what you think.
That's right. Yeah. The only way we're going to get better, the only way we're going to do things that you like us to do is by hearing what you have to say.
Absolutely.
So definitely get on there and talk to us. Hit the subscribe button below, big red button.
Yep.
Ring the bell, and we will be back next week. Thank you, guys.
Peace. Bye.